Resident Alien, episode 14 of the second season. 2 left after this, if I'm not mistaken. Yo, a good episode. I've been hesitant with some of the more recent ones. They know what they're doing sometimes, and I'm like, that's really cool when you're playing into the comedic hijinks of these characters. That's when you stick the landing. Getting a little too interpersonal, it doesn't work, and it's kind of this thing that I know a lot of shows feel the need to do, where it's like, you have to balance the intense, serious drama with the quirky comedy. You actually don't. You can be straight drama or straight comedy. Not everything has to be this, like, nuanced in every way. This episode, I think, did it better than most. A lot of good stuff. A lot of interesting resolutions to stories I'm glad we're getting past. And we had him in the suit for a lot of it. Alien prosthetics for a majority of this episode. That is fun. So let's get rid of the stuff that I'm like, I'm really glad they're moving away from this. The whole Darcy and Painkiller storyline. She kind of alienated herself, no pun intended, from a lot of the people in her life, acting this abrasive and desperate for drugs. Might have ruined her chances of Elliot. They could easily fix that up, but I think it's more in character for Darcy to let it go, if that makes sense, where she's like, I drove this good man away because of my bad behavior, I have a problem. She addresses it in here. It's not going to be like a season-long arc where she's just struggling with her addiction to painkillers. She gets help from Asta immediately. And I'm like, oh, thank you. We don't have to do this. Like, it's kind of just like a filler story where it's like, oh, we really don't know what to do with Darcy. What if she went back to skiing, got addicted to painkillers, and the boyfriend couldn't put up with it? I'm like, that is an idea, and I'm glad we're getting it done. Thank goodness that's out of the way. We do a little bit more of the Mike and detective story where Liv kind of tries to set him up. It's fun, it's cute, it's making for good story, and I don't hate it. I just gotta say this too, okay, I love Corey Reynolds in this. He's the standout performance for me, and please put him in everything. If you could just give, like the Emmys were this week, if you could just give this guy an Emmy for his performance, it's fantastic. He has 2 amazing bits in this episode where he's massaging Ben's shoulders and he gives into this like thing, I was a masseur for cats, and if you feel like you can't turn your neck, you bend over and you hiss. That is hilarious. It's playing that so straight is funny. And then at the dinner table later, when Kate and Ben are getting to their argument and he's trying to explain like how things lead to whoring and then explain to Max what a whore is, it's hilarious. This guy's great. Corey Reynolds is so good in this show. He is just doing phenomenal work and just playing his ass off. And, oh, looks like him and the detective are getting a little flirty in all the right ways. I do like to see that. And this is secretly a Liv episode, too. She gets a really cool arc where she's kind of like figuring out her self-dependence. And I like seeing that where, guess who returns? The alien hunter. Locke is back, baby. Who here has seen Lost? Some of you probably. I'd hope so. He's back. The alien hunter has returned to Patience. And he's like, there's activity here. He gets her notebook, and I love what they do with that character. It's a really good story. Did they kill him at the end? It looks like they're gonna kill him. Because this kind of becomes a real... This is what I've been saying for a long time, where this story thrives, is when you have Max and Harry in the center of it. When you're playing with those two, that's where it works. And the central conflict of this episode is Max is kind of torn between helping the alien hunter and helping Harry. We have an amazing scene where Harry's like getting pursued by the hunter. It looks like they're going to have a brawl in the streets. And then you see that Judy comes out and saves him. And Alan Tudyk, again, I could sit here and talk about him all day and the performance he gives and everything. But the way he just says, your panties arouse me sexually, we should go inside, is hilarious. So funny and awkward, and I love the way he just shrugs her off. Amazing stuff. But Max meets up with both of them later, the hunter and Harry, and it's kind of like, this guy's going to kill you. He's going to do damage. He's going to ruin your life. Aliens are not good people. Then Harry accosts him in his room like, I thought we were friends, man. You know, like, we do everything together. We know each other's favorite number between 1 and 10. It's 6.5, but we were pretty close, and it's really fun stuff, and Max is like, I don't know what's going on. I am just here to be a kid. Scary stuff. And it leads to Harry killing Locke. Weird. You know, like, because now he's actively, like, doing things. Like, before Harry, I think, because the stuff with Asta killing that guy earlier in the season, It's like, yeah, she's dealing with this conflict, but now is Harry going to deal with it? Because this guy did try to kill him and attack him. How's he going to feel of taking a life like that of somebody who could potentially have helped him? It's kind of fascinating. I'm very excited for it to see if that's going to be something they play into. Or maybe he didn't kill him. Maybe he just neutralized him and he's going to become like a recurring character in these last couple episodes with something we have to deal with. Don't really know. It's kind of exciting that way. One thing I noticed about this episode that shook me in a way I wasn't expecting it to was the way the cinematography just upped itself for this one episode. I don't know why this happened, but there were 3 distinctive shots that just made me go, what is happening right now? Why does this suddenly look more cinematic and beautiful? The opening scene of Asta and her dad when they're on like the river, I'm like, this is a new location or one I can't remember, but we are using it beautifully. Wide open landscapes, beautiful body of water. Like, why does this look so good all of a sudden? And there's one scene in the diner where it's like we have a handheld camera and we're poking it through like the window of the door and we just pull it back onto Harry and Asta. And I'm like, what a weird choice, because normally, and this is just kind of something you do for network television, your camera movements are very stiff. You know, you just have like, you can kind of pan away or zoom out, or sometimes you just like track with people. But that's such a quick zoom away, and I'm like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. And then the scene where the hunter is chasing Harry through the streets, and we have people darting through them. I'm like, I thought we would have filmed this in COVID. Why is there so many people here on like this beautifully open street? It's filmed differently, like the colors look different. It blew my mind. I was like, we can do this on a bigger scale? ? And we haven't? Awesome. Super impressed by that. I guess there was kind of one other moment too where Harry's like reflection of the alien is in like a mirror on the car, and then you track away and just see Alan Tudyk sitting there. It's like, wow, you just upped it a little bit, and I'm very impressed with what we saw. That was so cool. That was so unique. I really liked seeing that. Holy cow. Again, the stuff with Kate and Ben, very funny. There's having them few tensions over that. We're going to be halting production on the resort for a bit. They've been teasing the resort for a while. I feel like we have to do it, and I still think it's going to be like the Greys are going to be the ones behind the resort, and that's how they're going to build it. That would just make sense to me. Asta kind of gets a moment with Jay in here, and you're like, that's sweet. It again it's kind of echoing her story where she doesn't want to be like the mother that she'd never had, and that kind of a thing. It's interesting. It's going in direction, I'm like, yeah, this is fine. I don't think there was much to it there. It's kind of like the Darcy storyline where it's like, this is a good arc for a character, maybe for an episode, but you don't have to overshadow it too much of all that stuff, because this should be a comedy. Because the comedy works when you have Harry and Max playing off each other, Harry and the Hunter playing off each other. All that stuff works a little bit better than when it doesn't. We also see that Linda Hamilton has the baby alien, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that for a minute. So that's obviously going to vindicate her for a bit, because her whole arc was kind of like, I have to prove this is real. When she sees the ship in the first season, she's like, this is real. My father was right. And now seeing the alien, she's like, my whole life's meaning has been found. Let's screw shit up. So the Greys are coming. George Takei is going to kick some ass probably. Harry's going to have to be a hero. Let's see where it goes, baby. It's fun. This was such a strong episode. It played into all of the right beats. The jokes landed. The character work was fantastic. It's very cool. When you have like a guest star just show up in your episode and it feels naturalistic, where they're not overshadowing the other characters in here, it makes for something very cool. We also did tease like another convention was coming through town or like around the area. Are we going to go back there like we did at the end of the last season? I wouldn't be surprised, but who's to say, really? Feels like just kind of retreading the same ground, but I don't know. Maybe they will. Good stuff. Just great stuff. This episode proved itself to be very strong. It showed you that this show can still find its ground and be captivating in a lot of cool ways. I am just impressed with it. Like, this is good television. Resident Alien knows how to make itself work sometimes, and knows how to just randomly, sparingly just be cinematic in ways you're not expecting. That's kind of cool. The fact that this show, who is very formulaic, can still surprise me should be a testament to the creativity behind the scenes and the brilliance that is coming on in every single moment. So, a dead alien tracker, maybe. The Greys are coming, maybe. Darcy is no longer going to be doing the painkiller thing. Are we going to do an arc where she's like, recovering and it's just going to be like, blah, blah, blah. Look at her struggle. Elliot's going to help her. Maybe? Is that bad though? I don't know if it's bad more than it's just formulaic, if that makes sense. And this show is anything but formulaic, but when it does become formulaic, that's where it falls apart. Either way, this episode, pretty strong. Can't wait to see what comes next. Good use of the prosthetics. So that is going to do it for this review of Resident Alien. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.